प्रति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पथे गोपेश गोपिकाकान्त श्रीराधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। पञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद।
Mataji 6.40 we have to
with you. 9 point, no? Sorry, 6 point. 6.39, right?
6.40 we have to start. 39 we did last time.
Tested and did it completed, no? Okay, so Arjuna says very difficult to control the mind. The mind speaks a lot. So, so this is my doubt, and only you can dispel how to control the mind. It is very difficult to control the wind, but more difficult is to control the mind. Let us see what Krishna says. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha 6.48 verse. Partha Naivehana Mutra Vinashastasya Vidyate Nahi Kalyana Krut Kaschit Durgati Tata Gacchati. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O son of Pratha, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities does not meet with distraction either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. So there was a question now. If a person has some faith and he has started, but somehow he could not complete it. He deviated in between. So what will happen to him? Partha na eva na mutraha. So na amutraha. So neither in this world, iha, nor in the next life, amutraha. Vinashaha tasya vidyate. Never he will vanquish. Whoever has started walking in the spiritual path, he will never attain any distraction. And then nahi kalyana krut if he has done some auspicious activity, it will never degrade him. Durgatim tata gacchati. So na durgati. He will never attain any, he will never be overcome by any evil. So the verse has been put. We have done this verse also. In the second chapter in the purport has come. त्यक्त्वा स्वधर्मं चरणाम्बुजं हरे भजन अपक्वो अथ पतेत् ततो यदि स्ववाप्त यत्र क्वा वा भद्रमभक्तमश्य किं को वार्थ आप्तो अभजतां स्वधर्मतः. If he has left all his duties and he has joined that spiritual path, but there also he is not very serious, still there is no loss. On the contrary, if he is performing his duties nicely, but then he is not doing devotion, what is the use? That's the question asked. I think Diya is also traveling. Today only Sonal, you only to study. Others are taking rest. Read. But I have to complete the portion.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Text number 40. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Partha Naiveha Namutra Vinashastasya Vidyate Nahi Kalyana Krutat Kaschet Durgatim Tat Gacchati. Translations and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Chandra Ravinda Bhakti Vedant Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Son of Pritha, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities does not meet with destruction either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. Purport. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Narad Muni instructs Vyasadev as follows. त्यक्त्वा स्वधर्मं शरणाम्बुजं हरेर् भजन अपक्वोऽथ पतेत् ततो यदि यत्र क्व वा भद्रम् अबुद् अमुष्य किम् को वार्त आप्तो भजतां स्वधर्मतः. If someone gives up all material prospects and takes complete shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no loss or degradation in any way. On the other hand, a non devotee may fully engage in his occupational duties and yet not gain anything. For material prospects, there are many activities, both scriptural and customary. A transcendentalist is supposed to give up all material activities for the sake of spiritual advancement in life, Krishna consciousness. One may argue that by Krishna consciousness, one may attain the highest perfection if it is completed. But if one does not attain such a perfectional stage, then he loses both materially and spiritually. It is enjoined in the scriptures that one has to suffer the reaction for not executing prescribed duties. Therefore, one who fails to discharge transcendental activities properly becomes subjected to these reactions. The Bhagavatam assures the unsuccessful transcendentalist that there need not be worries. Even though he may be subjected to the reaction for not perfectly executing prescribed duties, he is still not a loser because auspicious Krishna consciousness is never forgotten. And one so engaged will continue to be so even if he is a low born in the next life. On the other hand, one who simply follows strictly the prescribed duties need not necessarily attain auspicious results if he is lacking in Krishna consciousness. The purport may be understood as follows. Humanity may be divided into two sections, namely the regulated and the non regulated. Those who are engaged simply in bestial sense gratifications without knowledge of their next life or spiritual salvation belong to the non regulated section. And those who follow the principles of prescribed duties in the scriptures are classified amongst the regulated section. The non regulated section, both civilized and non civilized, educated and non educated, strong and weak, are full of animal propensities. The activities are never auspicious because while enjoying the animal propensities of eating, sleeping, defending, and mating, they perpetually remain in material existence, which is always miserable. On the other hand, those who are regulated by scriptural injunctions and who thus rise gradually to Krishna consciousness certainly progress in life. Those who are following the path of auspiciousness can be divided into three sections, namely, number one, the followers of scriptural rules and regulations who are enjoying material prosperity. Number two, those who are trying to find ultimate liberation from material existence. And number three, those who are devotees in Krishna consciousness. Those who are following the rules and regulations of the scriptures for material happiness may be further divided into two classes, those who are fruitive workers and those who desire no fruit for sense gratification. Those who are after fruitive results for sense gratification may be elevated to a higher standard of life, even to the higher planets. But still, because they are not free from material existence, they are not following the truly auspicious path. The only auspicious activities are those which lead one to liberation. Any activity which is not aimed at ultimate self realization or liberation from the material bodily concept of life is not at all auspicious. Activity in Krishna consciousness is the only auspicious activity. And anyone who voluntarily accepts all bodily discomforts for the sake of making progress on the path of Krishna consciousness can be called a perfect transcendentalist under severe austerity. And because the eightfold yoga system is directed toward the ultimate realization of Krishna consciousness, such practice is also auspicious. And no one who is trying his best in this matter need fear degradation. Hare Krishna.
One minute. 1 minute, 1 minute. My voice is here audible?
Yes, Mata.
Yes, okay. Okay. प्राप्य पुण्यकृतां लोकान् उषित्वा शाश्वतीं समः शुचीनां श्रीमतां गेहे योगभ्रष्टभिजायते. The unsuccessful yogi, after many, many years of enjoyment on the planets of this pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy. So, prapya punya pratam lokan ushitva shashvatim samah. An unsuccessful yogi is born in a nice, wonderful family. Or he will be born in a Brahmin family, or he will be born in a rich aristocratic family, hmm, or he'll be born in a pious family. So, in this way, he'll get a good birth. He's unsuccessful. He has done some devotional service, no doubt, but not in a very long time. Some devotional service, but after that, he was deviated. What will happen for a person who has done long practice that is given in the next verse? This he has done something. Prapya punya kutam lokan. He will be born in a place where activities, pious activities are done. That is in a Brahminical family. Shuchinam, Srimatam. Shuchinam means very prosperous. Shuchinam, in a pious family's house, or Srimatam, in a prosperous house. So such person who has done yoga bhrashta vijayate. He did something, but yoga bhrashta. He fell from the path of self-realization. So either in a Brahminical family or in a very rich family. Not necessary that everybody who is born in a rich family has done some pious activities. Not necessary. He must have done pious activity, but not a transcendental activity. There's a difference. Unsuccessful yogi, after many, many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born. So, if he has done some pious activity, yes, he will go to the higher planetary system. After that, he will come back. Now, there are two types of yogi. It is given here. See. One who has done small practice, one who has done long practice. One who has done materialistic pious activity, one who tried to walk in devotional service because he was not very much successful. Two types of activities are there. No? Materially pious activities like helping someone, giving some charity. But one is helping in the Krishna conscious movement, like anything. Like there are four sampradayas. Anywhere a person is doing some transcendental activity, then yes, he will be again born to perform devotional service. Now, if he has done pious activity, then literally pious activity, then he'll go to the upper planetary system and come back. There also he may get a birth in a Brahmin's house or aristocratic family's house in this way. So read in the purport, see very clearly Prabhupada writes. And then suppose somebody has done a long practice, that is also given. अथवा योगिनामेव कुले भवति धीमताम् एतद्धि दुर्लभतरं लोके जन्म यदीदृशम्. If he has done a long practice, but then he's having dhimatam. Dhimatam means he's bestowed with great wisdom. Then he will be durlabhataram. He will have such a wonderful birth. There Prabhupada mentions about himself. He'll get an acharya's family's house. Children are born in devotee's house. They are not ordinary children. Prabhupada writes, my fourth generation is Vaikuntavasis. Because they right from the beginning, from the womb, they are only taking Krishna Prasadam. They have not eaten anything else. That means what? They have done long practice. They've got even opportunity to go to Vaikuntha Dham. They need not come back, but if they want to be sent back to perform some activities like Prabhupada, like Acharyas, they come to preach. They come to teach. They are all Acharyas. Acharititi Acharya. They come to uplift people like us. So, here Prabhupada writes, my Guru, my humble self, you got opportunity to take birth in such a families where right from the birth, devotion, the person has not got anything else than devotion. So if one gets an opportunity to be born in such wonderful families, then you should understand those children are not ordinary children. So these two verses, see yoga, karma yoga, dhyana yoga, jnana yoga, bhakti yoga. 4 types of yogas are there. When you say yoga, karma yoga, you are using your karma phala for some pious activity to walk in devotional path. You are not attached to the karma phala. Yoga refers to connecting with Lord. So anyhow, when you say yoga bhrashta, here by default it is like you have walked in transcendence only. There is no question of doing some pious activity, keeping oneself in center. So that is why when the word yoga comes, it can be 4 category yogas. That is karma phala yoga, dhyana yoga, is sitting and meditating on the Paramatma. Jnana yoga, he is trying to understand through the difference between the body and the soul, performing the austerities. But again, he wants to understand that Brahman. Now, Jnana yogis, they don't know the personal form of Lord Brahman. And then Bhakti yoga, yes, it is directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead. 4 types of yogas are there. In any of these yogas, he has not completed. Maybe he has done for a small time, but still he will get wonderful family. If he has done for a long time, yes, he will be born in an Acharya's family. He will become an Acharya. He will be born in such wonderful house, in the house of devotees. In the previous verse, they have not told about the devotees. They have told that we will be born in a Brahmana Vaishnava family. Yes, that is also devotee only, na? Right? But aristocratic merchants, what about that? Now, what about aristocratic merchants? So there also you will get a chance to perform devotional service. Like donation and all. Big merchants give donation. You get a chance. So these 2 verses has to be read very properly, because sometimes you come to a conclusion, seeing some rich person and thinking that, oh, he has done something. You have done something in the past. We don't know. We don't know whether he has done or not. Yes, if he has a tendency to give some donation, if he has a tendency to serve in the Krishna conscious movement, maybe not in ISKCON only, he may serve any sampradaya, doesn't matter. But he is serving Krishna consciousness. Okay? So try to understand these 2 verses very nicely. Gaurang, read.
प्राप्य पुण्याकृतं लोकान् उषित्वा शाश्वती समा शुचीना श्रीमताङ्गेः योगभ्रष्टो विजायते. Translation: The unsuccessful yogi, after many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy. Purport: The unsuccessful yogis are divided into 2 classes. One is fallen after very little progress, and one is fallen after long practice of yoga. The yogi who falls after a short period of practice goes to the higher planets, where pious living entities are allowed to enter. After a prolonged life there, one is sent back again to this planet, to take birth in the family of a righteous Brahmana, Vaishnava, or of aristocratic merchants. The real purpose of yoga practices to achieve the highest perfection of Krishna consciousness. I explained in the last verse of this chapter. But those who do not persevere to such an extent and who fail because of material allurements are allowed by the grace of the Lord to make full utilization of their material propensities. And after that, they are given opportunities to live prosperous lives in righteous or aristocratic families. Those who are born in such families may take advantage of the facilities and try to elevate themselves to full Krishna consciousness. Yes.
Read next verse
42 also.
also. Read that also. Read, Golan.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me, Mataji?
Yeah, 42nd. Yes, read.
अथवा योगिनामेव कुले भवति धीमताम् एतद्धि दुर्लभातरं लोके जन्म यदृशम्. Translation. Or if unsuccessful after long practice of yoga, he takes his birth in a family of transcendentalists who are surely great in wisdom. Certainly such a birth is rare in this world. Purport. Birth in a family of yogis or transcendentalists, those with great wisdom, is praised herein because a child born in such a family receives a spiritual impetus from the very beginning of his life. It is especially the case in the Acharya or Goswami families. Such families are very learned and devoted by tradition and training, and thus they become spiritual masters. In India, there are many such Acharya families, but they have now degenerated due to insufficient education and training. By the grace of the Lord, there are still families that foster transcendentalist generation after generation. It is certainly very fortunate to take birth in such families. Fortunately, both our spiritual master, Om Vishnu Pada Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, and our humble self have the opportunity to take birth in such families. By the grace of the Lord, and both of us were trained in the devotional service of the Lord in the very beginning of our lives. Later on, we met by the order of the transcendental system. Thank you, Mataji.
तत्ततं बुद्धिसंयोगं लभते पौर्वदेहिकं यतते च ततो भूयः संसिद्धौ कुरु नन्दन. So if a person gets birth in such wonderful families, what happens? It becomes very easy to revive the divine consciousness, previous life. Very easy to make further progress. He receives like this family. Like King Bharat has been given, the example has been given. Tatratam buddhi samyogam. So it revives the consciousness. That is very important. Paurvadehikam, because of the previous whatever wonderful activity has been done. So some siddhav, he takes to perfection. O son of Guru Nandana. Okay. So now read.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam. Text number 43. Tatra tam buddhi sanyogam labate paurvadehikam yat te cha tato bhuyah samsiddhau kuru nandana. Translations and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. On taking such a birth, he revives the divine consciousness of his previous life and he again tries to make further progress in order to achieve complete success, O son of Kuru. King Bharata, who took his third birth in the family of a good Brahmana, is an example of good birth for the revival of previous transcendental consciousness. King Bharat was the emperor of the world, and since his time, this planet has been known among the demigods as Bharatvarsha. Formerly, it was known as Ilavrata Varsha. The emperor at an early age retired for spiritual perfection but failed to achieve success. In his next life, he took birth in the family of a good Brahmana and was known as Jad Bharat because he always remained secluded and did not talk to anyone. And later on, he was discovered as the greatest transcendentalist by King Rahugana. From his life, it is understood that transcendental endeavors or the practice of yoga never go in vain. By the grace of the Lord, the transcendentalist gets repeated opportunities for complete perfection in Krishna consciousness. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Next one. पूर्वाभ्यासेन हितेनैव ह्रियते लवशोऽपि सः जिज्ञासुरपि योगस्य शब्दब्रह्मापि वर्तते. So because of his previous life, divine consciousness in previous life, what happens? Purvabhyasa. He has done Purvabhyasa. That is why he gets attracted automatically. He doesn't have to be told many times, oh, wake up early in the morning, or chant. Automatically he is attracted to the yogic principles, even without seeking them. And he is inquisitive also, jigyasu. We have 4 types of people, no? That is going to come in the 7th chapter. So jigyasu is inquisitive about yoga. Shabda Brahma. Ati vartate. In this way, he stands above all the religious, ritualistic practices of the scriptures. He has a spontaneous love. Automatically it happens because he has done such thing in the past. That is why he is above the ritualistic principles. So nice verses we quote from Srimad Bhagavatam. Aho patashvat pacho to gariyan yad jivahagre vardate lamatubhyam tepus tapaste juhu shashuraryaha brahmanuchurnama granatiyate. Even though he may be born in a dog eater's family. Now it is something contradictory, isn't it? Because it has been told, if he is born, if he has done something, he will be born in a Brahminical family or a rich family. But here directly what it has been said, even if he is born in a dog eater's family. Then how to understand this? Because if he has done long practice, then Lord says he will be born in a devotee's house. In devotee's house. If he is born, if he has done some small practice, at least Brahminical family's house. And a rich family's house. Now Haridas Thakur, what to understand? How to understand? So this is something which is completely contradictory. Like Bharat Maharaj. He went to do tapasya. He just got attracted to some deer. Why he should be born as a deer? So sometimes it is contradictory to the statements given by Krishna. But one thing is same. What is that? The devotion will not be lost. The devotion will not be lost. That is more important. Whether he is born in a rich family's house or a pious Vaishnava's house, Brahmin Vaishnava's house, or in devotee's house, the devotion is not lost. If he is born in dog eater's house, the devotion is not lost. So devotion has nothing to do with in which house you are born. It all depends on what type of consciousness you are bringing from the next life. That is more important. That is why this ahobata, why Prabhupada has used this. Because according to this, mlechas should not get devotional services, isn't it? They're all mlechas, na? Poor foreigners. They're not coming even in the Shudras family. They're not coming in 4 Varnashrama. Who were the first initiated devotees of Srila Prabhupada? They were all mlechas. Among the 12 alvars in Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, there are few alvars who took birth in some Shudra's house. Alvars, those who are Ayudhas of Krishna. They took birth where? Tirupan Alvar. He has taken birth in Pan family. Pan means the one who sings. Singers, weavers, artisans, they are all coming in Shudra families. So devotion has nothing to do with which family you are born. Devotion has, we should understand, devotion has everything to do with our consciousness. With our sukruti, what we are bringing from the previous life. Or sometimes we don't have any Sukruti. Acharyas can give us Sukruti. Somebody asked Prabhupada, what qualification we had or we have? Did we do something in the past? Prabhupada said, no. According to these verses, yes, you have not done anything. I have given you Sukruti. That also can happen. And according to this verse, if he is born in a dog eater's family, it is understood that he has done everything in the past. He has taken up Krishna consciousness directly. Yes, he has done everything in the past. Okay? That is why I will read this 10 times to understand it very nicely. Okay, Diya, can you read? Or Gaurang, you read? You're traveling, na?
Yes,
Gaurang,
Mataji.
Gaurang, read.
Okay. पूर्वाभ्यासेन तेनैव क्रियते ह्य अवशोऽपि सः जिज्ञासुरपि योगस्य शब्दब्रह्माति वर्तते. Translation. By virtue of the divine consciousness of his previous life, he automatically becomes attracted to the yogic principles, even without seeking them. Such an inquisitive transcendental stands always above the ritualistic principles of the scriptures. Purport. Advanced yogis are not very much attracted to the rituals of the scriptures, but they automatically become attracted to the yoga principles, which can elevate them to complete Krishna consciousness, the highest yoga perfection. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 3.33.7, such disregard of Vedic rituals by the advanced transcendentalists is explained as follows. Ahobata Shvapachato Gariyan Yajjihvagre Vartate Nama Tubhyam Tapaste Juhu Sashmurarya Brahma Shurnama Granti Yete. O my Lord, persons who chant the holy names of your Lordship are far advanced in spiritual life, even if born in families of dog eaters. Such chanters have undoubtedly performed all kinds of austerities and sacrifices, bathed in all sacred places, and finished all scriptural studies. The famous example of this was presented by Lord Chaitanya, who accepted Thakur Haridas as one of his most important disciples. Although Thakur Haridas happened to take his birth in a Muslim family, he was elevated to the post of Namacharya by Lord Chaitanya due to his rigidly attended principle of chanting 300,000 holy names of the Lord daily. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And because he chanted the holy name of the Lord constantly, it is understood that in his previous life he must have passed through all the ritualistic methods of the Vedas, known as Shabda Brahma. Unless, therefore, one is purified, one cannot take to the principles of Krishna consciousness, or become engaged in chanting the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
प्रयत्नाद्यतमानः हि प्रयत्नाद्यतमानस्तु योगी किल्बिषः अनेक जन्म संसिद्धेस् ततो याति परां गतिम्. So what does that yogi does? He engages himself with sincere endeavor, prayatna, by rigid practice. Yatamanah, prayatnad yatamanah stu. And in this way, the yogi, samshuddha, he washes away all his sins. And then, aneka janma samsiddhi. In this way, after many lifetimes, aneka janma, he attains perfection. Yesham dvantagatam papam jananam punyakarmana. Te dvandani moha nirmukta bhajante mam dulavataha. So in this way, Yesham dvantagatam papam. So what is that papam? Even the so-called punya, desire for doing the materialistic punya is also gone. Te dvanda moha nirmukta. So in this way, he is completely free. And he worships Lord Duravataha with complete determination. So prayatnat, he is endeavoring, sincere endeavor. Okay. So
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yeah. Text number 45. प्रयत्नाद्यतमानस्तु योगी संशुद्ध किल्बिषः अनेक जन्म संसिद्धस्ततो याति पराम गतिम्. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And when the yogi engages himself with sincere endeavor in making further progress, being washed off all contaminations, then ultimately achieving perfection after many, many births of practice, he attains the supreme goal. A person born in a particularly righteous, aristocratic, or sacred family becomes conscious of his favorable condition for executing yoga practice. With determination, therefore, he begins his unfinished task, and thus he completely cleanses himself of all material contaminations. When he is finally freed from all contaminations, he attains the supreme perfection, which is Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is the perfect stage of being freed of all contaminations. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 7.28. Yesham tvan antagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridavratah. After many, many births of executing pious activities, when one is completely freed from all contaminations and from all illusory dualities, one becomes engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
let's see. तपस्विभ्योऽधिको योगी ज्ञानिभ्योऽपि मतोऽधिकः कर्मेभ्यश्चाधिको योगी तस्माद् योगी भवार्जुन. A tapasvi, that means a jnani. A yogi is better than a jnani. And the jnani is better than ascetic has been given, tapasvi. That means a person who has done a lot of tapasya, ascetic. Then he is better than even a jnani. And then that person is better than a fruity worker. That means karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga. Ascetic means dhyana yoga, and this is bhakti yoga. So better than a karma yoga is jnana yoga. Empiricist. What is empiricist? One who is having a jnana. Okay. And then better than that is dhyana yogi, and better than that is bhakti yoga. Though bhakti yoga has not been very clearly mentioned here, but because this type of comparison is there, the next verse we can understand what Krishna tries to say. Is he just yogi has been given. If you just read this verse, you will be completely in confusion. So in all the circumstances, be a yogi. Which yogi? Bhakti yogi. That has been given. Link yourself to Krishna. Okay, 1 minute. And now again, in this verse, if you see technically, it is like karmi, jnani, dhyani, and yogi. Okay. Better than a karmi is a jnani who is trying to understand himself. Better than that is dhyani, but better than that is yogi. So in that yoga also, karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, and then bhakti yoga. Among everything is bhakti yoga. So two comparisons we can do. Either comparing with this word yoga itself. In karma yoga, what you do? You give some share. In jnana yoga, what you do? You do something. You try to understand the Brahman and all those things. In dhyana yoga, what we try to do? We meditate on the Paramatma. In bhakti yoga, it is like complete services, understanding the individuality of Lord also. In this comparison also, if you see bhakti yoga, if you see technically, don't put the word yoga itself. For karmi, jnani, dhyani, don't put the word yoga itself. then naturally a yogi is better. Better than a karmi is yogi. Better than a jnani is jnani yogi. Better than a dhyani is dhyana yogi. You understood this? Yeah. So yoga means connecting to Lord. In that connection, the topmost is bhakti yoga. The word yoga itself is wonderful. If a person is just a karmi, better be a karmi yoga. So in this, two meanings are there. Read, Gaurav.
Sebhyo yogi gnanibhyopi matodikaha karmibhyaschadiko. Translation. A yogi is greater than the ascetic, greater than the emperorist, and greater than the frugal worker. Therefore, O Arjuna, in all circumstances, be a yogi. Purport. When we speak of yoga, we refer to linking our consciousness with the Supreme Absolute Truth. Such a process is named differently by various practitioners in terms of the particular method adopted. The process is predominantly in fruitive activities. It is called Karma Yoga. When it is predominantly empirical, it is called Jnana Yoga. And when it is predominantly in a devotional relationship with the Supreme Lord, it is called Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga or Krishna consciousness is the ultimate perfection of all yogas, as will be explained in the next verse. The Lord has confirmed herein in the superiority of yoga, but he has not mentioned that it is better than Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is full spiritual knowledge, and therefore nothing can excel it. Asceticism without self-knowledge is imperfect. Empiric knowledge without surrender to the Supreme Lord is also imperfect, and fruitive work without Krishna consciousness is a waste of time. Therefore, the most highly praised form of yoga performance mentioned here is Bhakti Yoga, and this is still more clearly explained in the next verse. Hare Krishna.
Asceticism without self-knowledge. So, Jnani, he is trying to understand the difference between body and soul. But then, without self-knowledge, that means without the knowledge that both this body and the soul belongs to Krishna, what is the use of such Jnani? And then empirical knowledge. Okay, I am meditating on the super soul. In Patanjali Yoga system also, it is actually atheistic. Why? Because they meditate on created super soul. When that means mentally speculated super soul. They don't understand that super soul is Krishna only. That means hindrance is not there. The self-created, imaginary, you can say, imaginary super soul. What is the use of such dhyana? That is why surrender to Lord, if it is not there, it is imperfect. In the same way, any fruitive activity without Krishna consciousness is waste of time. You perform work, you get some fruits, but you are not Krishna conscious, then that fruits you use it for your own self. So that is why yoga word is more important. So you do anything, whether you be a karma yogi or a jnana yogi or a dhyana yogi, bhakti yogi, everything actually is bhakti yoga only. It will somehow boil down to bhakti yoga. You're taking some fruits and giving to Krishna, that is bhakti only, na? Advanced bhakti is what you're giving 100% or maybe like that. It is advanced. You're not interested in the work itself. You're not interested in the fruits of the work also. It's advanced, but everything is actually bhakti only. Next to 47th verse. Yoginam api sarvesham madhyadenantarat shraddhavan bhajate yo mam samyuktatamo matah. So of all the yogis now, which yogis are there? Karma yogi, dhyana yogi, jnana yogi. Of all the yogis, one who is always thinking of me. That means what? One who understands that I have a form. Now, Jnana Yogi need not understand Lord has a form. He may be inclined to Brahman aspect. He may be inclined to Paramatma aspect. Jnana Yogi. So that is why here it said, who is always thinking of me. How will he think of him? when in the wonderful form, isn't it? Lord has a wonderful personality. Antatmaha, in this way, within himself, he has a strong faith, and bhajate, he performs loving devotional service. Then that person is the greatest yogi. Krishna very clearly in the last verse says that person who performs devotional service is the greatest of all the yogis. Okay, so we'll finish up with this verse. So we end the 6th chapter. So see, the 6th chapter ends with Krishna revealing that he has a wonderful form. And that is how, from the 7th verse, 7th chapter, to the 12th chapter, Bhakti Yoga has been emphasized. So till now, Guhya Gyan has been given, but now Guhya Tara Gyan will be given, and Guhya Tama Gyan will be given. That Krishna eats also. One is Guhya Gyan. Guhya is what? Confidential. Oh, I am not the body, I am soul. Confidential knowledge. Then Guhya Tara. Oh, this body is made up of so and so, so and so. All these things will be given. How this matter is formed. And among all these things, how internal potency, external potency, all these things. And Guhya Tama Gyan is what? When Krishna says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, then Krishna says, Yat Karoshi Yadashnashi, whatever you eat, you give it to me. 9th chapter, Guhya Tama Gyana. Okay? So, 47th verse, read it.
Yeah. 47th verse. योगिनामपि सर्वेषां मद्गतेनान्तरात्मना श्रद्धावान् भजते यो मां समे युक्ततमो मतः. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And of all yogis, the one with great faith, who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service to me, he is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. That is my opinion. Purport. The word bhajate is significant here. Bhajate has its root in the verb bhaja, which is used when there is need of service. The English word worship cannot be used in the same sense as bhaja. Worship means to adore or to show respect and honor to the worthy one. But service with love and faith is especially meant for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One can avoid worshipping a respectable man or a demigod and may be called discourteous, but one cannot avoid serving the Supreme Lord without being thoroughly condemned. Every living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus every living entity is intended to serve the Supreme Lord by his own constitution. Failing to do so, he falls down. The Bhagavatam confirms this as follows. Ya esham purusham sakshad atmaprabhavam ishwaram na bhajanti avajananti sthanad brishtaha patanti adaha. Anyone who does not render service and neglects his duty unto the primeval Lord, who is the source of all living entities, will certainly fall down from his constitutional position. In this verse also, the word bhajanti is used. Therefore, bhajanti is applicable to the Supreme Lord only, whereas the word worship can be applied to demigods or to any other common living entity. The word avajananti, used in this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, is also found in the Bhagavad Gita. Avajananti mam mudaha. Only the fools and rascals deride the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. Such fools take it upon themselves to write commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita without an attitude of service to the Lord. Consequently, they cannot properly distinguish between the word bhajanti and the word worship. The culmination of all kinds of yoga practices lies in bhakti yoga. All other yogas are but means to come to the point of bhakti in bhakti yoga. Yoga actually means bhakti yoga. All other yogas are progressions toward the destination of bhakti yoga. From the beginning of karma yoga to the end of the bhakti yoga is a long way to self-realization. Karma yoga without fruitive results is the beginning of this path. When karma yoga increases in knowledge and renunciation, the stage is called jnana yoga. When Jnana Yoga increases in meditation on the super soul by different physical processes and the mind is on him, it is called Ashtanga Yoga. And when one surpasses the Ashtanga Yoga and comes to the point of the Supreme Personality of God at Krishna, it is called Bhakti Yoga, the culmination. Factually, Bhakti Yoga is the ultimate goal. But to analyze Bhakti Yoga minutely, one has to understand these other yogas. The yogi who is progressive is therefore on the true path of eternal good fortune. One who sticks to a particular point and does not make further progress is called by that particular name. Karma yogi, Jnana yogi, or Dhyana yogi, Raja yogi, Hatha yogi, etc. If one is fortunate enough to come to the point of Bhakti Yoga, it is to be understood that he has surpassed all other yogas. Therefore, to become Krishna conscious is the highest stage of yoga. Just as when we speak of Himalayan, we refer to the world's highest mountains, of which the highest peak, Mount Everest, is considered to be the culmination. It is by great fortune that one comes to Krishna consciousness on the path of Bhakti Yoga to become well situated according to the Vedic direction. The ideal yogi concentrates his attention on Krishna, who is called Shyamasundar, who is as beautifully colored as a cloud, whose lotus like face is as effulgent as the sun, whose dress is brilliant with jewels, and whose body is flower garlanded. Illuminating all sides is his gorgeous luster, which is called the Brahma Jyotir. He reincarnates in different forms such as Ram, Narsimha, Varaha, and Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he descends like a human being as the son of Mother Yashoda. And he is known as Krishna, Govinda, and Vasudeva. He is the perfect child, husband, friend, and master. And he is full with all opulences and transcendental qualities. If one remains fully conscious of these features of the Lord, he is called the highest yogi. This stage of highest perfection in yoga can be attained only by Bhakti Yoga, as is confirmed in all Vedic literature. Yasya deve para bhakti yata deve tata gurau tasyaite kathitaya artha prakashante mahatmanah. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are all the imports of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. Shvetashvatar Upanishad. भक्तिरस्य भजनं तद् इहामुत्रोपाधि नैरास्येनामुष्मिं मनः कल्पनम् एतद् एव नष्कर्मम्. Bhakti means devotional service to the Lord, which is free from desire for material profit, either in this life or in the next. Devoid of such inclinations, one should fully absorb the mind in the Supreme. That is the purpose of Naishkarmya. Gopala Tapani Upanishad 1.15. These are some of the means for performance of bhakti or Krishna consciousness, the highest perfectional stage of the yoga system. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports to the sixth chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of Dhyana Yoga. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you.
Very nicely. So first week of February, we'll keep the exam. Okay, any doubts regarding this? Stop here. Vancha kalpataruvyasya, pasindu devcha